So let's go into an overview about the theoretical part of the business rule. What are the users, what are the steps involved, what is the process involved, and what is the advantages. Then we will go into the system. Okay. So in SuccessFactor, we have this feature that is called as a business rule. Okay. So SAP introduced this feature so that whenever an action is being performed uh, in the SF application, those action has to be executed automatically rather than that action to be performed. The output should be performed manually. It should be executed automatically. Suppose for um, justifying my sentence, if I want to take an example, let's take something, uh, a scenario where a end user is trying to change the employee's location or employee's position, okay, or employees any organization structure value, okay, and when uh, the end user will click on the save, um, if they want a scenario that it should not save immediately, first of all it should route to a approval process, then it can be routed with the help of a workflow, and workflow can be executed. Workflow will trigger for in this scenario if the rule is there, business rule is there. That is one thing. Okay, when we are giving a communication to the system that we are performing an action, so an event and event reason is occurring. How for the MDF object here also an event and event reason will be triggered. Okay, for triggering the event and event reason, here also we need to go with the help of a business. So finally, for any scenario which is related to the employee related fields, we should go with the concept of business rule. Okay. Now, what the business rule says. So, business rules are used to add application logic to determine the outcome of the change made to a particular data in the system. Okay. So, when we are writing a business rule, the business rules are written on the basis of some logic. Okay, logic means some conditions. Okay, for example, now as I told you, I'm creating a scenario where I'm trying to change the employee's location. So employee will be having, I change the location, so the what is the new location and what is the previous location. Okay, so with the comparison of the new location and with the help of the previous location, i need to I need to figure out a condition, so that if this condition, if I'm drafting in the business rule, and if the any end user makes the same type of a scenario, then system will try to compare the scenario with the business rule condition. First of all, before triggering the business rule, system will try to identify whenever that action is performed, connecting to that action, any business rule is there or not. If any business rule is there connecting to that action, what is that rule, what is the condition in that rule, then system will try to compare that condition. And when system will try to compare that condition, if condition is getting satisfied which is there in the business rule with the scenario which is been happening, then the rule will trigger, and in that rule, whatever is the, either it is a event reason or if it is a workflow which we are setting, that will get triggered and it will be executed automatically. Okay, that only it is saying. Business rules are used to add applications to logic to different to determine the outcome of a change made to a particular data in the system. For example, you can set up a business rule to trigger certain actions when data is being added or it is being changed or it is being deleted from the system. Okay, this is the basic definition of the business rule. Now coming into the steps. When we come into the steps, what are the steps which are involved into? There are two steps mainly which is involved into it. One is creating a business rule and second is assigning the business rule. Okay. In MDF object also, we were creating the workflow and we are assigning the workflow. Here, workflow can be triggered when with the help of the business rule. So for that, we need to create a business rule. When in the first step, when we want to create a business rule, then how to create a business rule? In the business rule, we need to define which action the system performs when specific conditions are met. Okay, so in the business rule, we need to define which action. It is a location transfer, it is a salary change, it is a position change, it is a department change, or it is a supervisor change. So whatever is the action is specifying the system that perform when specific conditions are met. For that, again, under creating a business rule, there are two things: creating a condition and creating a statement. Okay, when we go into create a business rule, first of all, we need to go and create the condition. Okay, what is the condition we want to go and create it? Okay, so what is the condition? That is, if, then, and else. Okay, these are the three pillars of the logic which we want to look on, and among these three areas only we will be trying to configure the condition. Okay, so creating a condition. So when you want to create a condition, we want to first of all, the first pillar, the first part which we use to look is the if section. These are the sections. So in the if section, while creating a condition, in the if section of the rule, we need to define which conditions need to be met. Okay, we need to create a condition in the if section. Okay, so once we create a condition, then if this condition is being met, then that will be getting creating a statement. That is the second part in the business rule. Statement means what? Then if the condition is being met in the if section, then in the then section of the rule, we need to define how the system react when the conditions are met. Suppose we are creating a condition if the location current value is not equal to the location previous value. This is the condition. If this condition is met, how you are creating a statement? Then you want to set the either the event reason value. So event reason, set the event reason value to be equal to so and so XYZ. So whatever is the XYZ means, that is the event reason code which you have already created. So finally you are triggering the event reason with the help of this condition. But earlier what was happening? Whenever you are making the changes in the system, you are trying to do the event and event reason manually entering into the system. So you are notifying to the system that this is the event and event reason which is occurring. But now you are not entering it manually. With the you had created a condition and the statement, and once the condition is getting satisfied, once the condition is being met as per the scenario, the statement will be set. Okay, in the then section, and in the then section, whatever is the statement, suppose you want to trigger the event reason, that is the statement. So event reason will be triggered automatically. Okay, event reason will be triggered automatically on the basis of the scenario which you are performing, and that scenario will be compared in the first section, that is the if section. Is it clear? Any questions?
Yes, but just one question. Will they be else? A general question.
Yes, that only I'm again coming up. Suppose you see, whenever you are working on a business rule is something, a conceptual part. Okay, you will get a scenario. You need to understand the customer's requirement. That in that customer's requirement, how you want to draft the condition. Your condition can be restricted only to the if section and the then section, or you want to include the else statement also, else section also. So for putting the else section, let's take another scenario where you in the if section, you are creating some condition where for a particular field you want to make the visibility to be equal to editable. Okay, for a certain permission group. We have already completed RBP, right? So in RBP we have certain permission group. So what we want to do is what the requirement from the business is that we have certain permission groups: HR admin, manager self-service, ESS, lot of permission groups are there. Now customer want, whenever the HR admin will try to go into the employee profile, that field should be editable. The visibility of the field should be editable. But apart from that, for the others, it should be only in the readable mode. Okay, so it should not be editable. So in that case, what will happen in the if condition, you have to create a condition in this way that you have to include the permission group, that for this permission, if this permission group, if somebody is login as a user, then you need to set the visibility of that particular field should be equal to editable, else make the set the visibility should be equal to none. So in that case, what is happening? You have created a if condition, then you, in the then section you are setting the statement to the editable, and in the else statement you are putting it if otherwise you are making that particular field visibility as a none. Then you are including the else. Apart from the else also, you also have else if also. Okay, so if is one section, then is one section, and again if this is getting satisfied, otherwise else you are putting that it should be only readable, or it should not be visible, like that. Okay, now this if then section which is there, this is one block. Okay, so when you go with if and then but it is one block. Got it? So in this if, there is one condition which has been, so if one condition is there in the if and it is stating the statement in the then statement. Again, if you want to include another condition after the end of the then statement, then you can go with the else if. So you are linking or you are chaining the another condition with the first condition. Then the another condition again, else if, again you will write a condition, and again you will create a statement, then statement, that will be that if then will be the block 2. Okay, first block and second block. And after that, if you are putting else, make this as a hidden or make this as a visibility as a none. So you, what you are doing in a single business rule, you are drafting two different conditions with the connecting of else if. Okay, so these if then else if are the logical operators. Okay, so these are called the logical operators, which will help us to create a condition in the while creating the business rule. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so the first step is to create a business rule. Second step is to assign the business rule. Creating a business rule can be done with the help of creating a condition, and for creating condition, these are the logical operators which are there. We have another logical operators also, that is and we have or also. Okay, so these and or operators can also be included in the if. Okay, included in the if section. So now you are creating a condition if then. Okay, else you are setting the you are stopping that particular if then condition there only with the help of adding else. If you want to again connect with another condition, you will be using else if. Okay, this is clear. Now if in the if then also, if you want to give some uh, connecting condition with a probability by using the another logical operator, that is and or. Suppose if I am putting a condition in this way that if the legal entity, suppose let's take if the legal entity country equal to France. Okay, and if the legal country equal to France, and I'm now using AND operator, and if the permission group login user should be equal to HR admin France. So if we are trying to add two if conditions, okay, in with the help of connecting AND. So AND means mandatorily if these two conditions are there, that the whatever the changes is happening, that changes is being made by the HR admin France, and it is made to the employee profile whose legal entity country is France, then you will set the statement. Okay, that if that is the scenario, then we will be using the AND operator. OR operator means if uh, let's take you have a two HR admin permission groups. Okay, one is for France and one is for let's take Belgium. So if the permission group HR admin France or the permission group HR admin Belgium is there, then set the statement, set this field visibility should be equal to editable. So any of the HR admin, either from France or from the Belgium is accessing, so then we are setting up the visibility equal to editable. So these are the operators according to the situation we will try to use. And means mandatorily both if should be there, condition should be there when you are performing an action. All means any of it. Understood here?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So it is something how you are juggling these operators according to the requirement. Okay. Finally, you don't want to make anything very complex and you don't want to make the thing mess of it. Okay. Rule should be defined in a very simple and very understandable way, but you should need to understand what exactly is the scenario, and according to that when you are drafting a rule condition, according to that only later you need to do the testing also. Okay, if condition is something and you are doing the testing in other way, you cannot able to get the desired result, right? If condition is correct but you are doing testing in other way, the result will not be coming. Okay, so condition and the testing should be parallelly synced to each other, synchronized to each other. Okay, that is one. Now coming into the assigning the business rule. When you come into the assigning the business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding object, field, business, process. Okay, the business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding. So rule will only trigger when you are assigning to a particular object or a particular field. Okay, when you go into an employee in an employee profile, you can see various portlets are there, right? Personal info, job info, employment info, these are the portlets, right?
Yes.
So these portlets, we have already completed BCUI, right? Manage business configuration, where you are defining all the employee related fields, right? With help, so earlier it was there in succession data model, now we can use in BCUI also, correct? So
Yes.
when we were completed manage business configuration, you have seen one section was the trigger rule section. I told that when we start with the business rule, we will again come back to that section. Okay. So when you open so in manage business configuration, left side, whatever you are seeing, that is HRIS element, right? Those are called HRIS element. Okay. So those HRIS elements are nothing but the portlets, right? So if you have created a condition for a particular portlet, suppose you have created a condition for job information, and in this job information you are performing some action. Okay, so system will try to see any business rule is there which is related to that particular portlet or not. That is job information. So when you are creating a rule, that is the first step. We need to assign that rule to that particular portlet or particular HRIS elements. So in our case, The HRS element is suppose job information. So here also it is justifying the sentence that business rule is only triggered when it has been assigned to the corresponding object. Object means that portlet. Okay. So overall object if you are assigning means overall portlet you are assigning, that is job information. Okay. Field level assigning means in that portlet you may be having multiple fields, but that rule should only work when you are connecting to a particular field. Okay, then what will happen if that field value is getting changed, then only that rule should trigger, then you will assign that rule to the field level. That is the difference between a object level and the field level. Is it clear? Any questions?
Clear.
Okay. So again, I am repeating it. In HRIS element, in manage business configuration, when you go there, you have a object and various field. That is HRIS element is the object, right? HRS element is the object. That is job information, employment information, right?
Yes.
Okay. So under HRS element, what you can see HRIS field, right?
Yes.
Various HRS fields are there. So you can assign the rule to the HRS element also or to the HRS field also.
Okay.
Got it? Now you are going into HRS element means you are going into job information, right? So you can directly assign to job information. Means in the HRS element job information, whatever fields are there, it is that rule is applicable to any of these fields, right? You are giving the what you call you are giving a scenario that any of the field can be uh, added into that rule and the rule can work for any of the fields. That is that why it is the reason, because you are assigning that rule to the object level. Now if I am saying that you want to assign only the rule only to the field level, means for the position or for the location. Now, for a particular position only, if I am assigning it means if that position value is getting changed, then only the rule should trigger. If that is the reason, then I am going with the field level. That is the difference between an object and the field. Okay, when you are assigning the business rule. Got it? That only it is saying that can be assigned to the corresponding object and the field. Okay.
Yes.
Now coming here, um, once we know that these are the two steps, after that what is the generally the users of the configure business tool. Okay, so I have created a concept, some points where we can able to understand what are the users of the business tool. Okay, first use is the to set the default value. So what is the meaning of setting up of the default value? So default value means what it says, you can define the default value for a specific field. Default value means, um, see, last year I was having a requirement from the customer uh, when the employee or the manager initiate the termination, submit the termination. There is a under the termination there we have a field that is called OK to rehire. Okay,
Yes.
so that OK to rehire we have a drop down value. Okay, so if we want to make the drop down value by default as yes, okay, so then we will go with this one that is specified that setting the default value as uh, uh, the use that you can default the default value for the specific field. So whenever a user initiate the termination, that field default value should be coming as yes, and we should there should not be any option of selecting as no. Okay, got it?
Yes.
Then conditional value. You can define which default value is set when a specific condition is met. That only I was telling you. Okay, if this condition is met, then how the system should react. Example, when the admin select the business unit. For example, admin select the business unit, the job classification automatically should be set to the engineering. Understood? So here business unit and the job classification are connected to each other. Okay. So this is something a conditional value.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming to the field properties, that is the another one. Let me put the point here also. Now field bar, you can default a field visible or required. Just now I told you, if you want to put the HR admin, the field visibility should be equal to editable or make it mandatory. Okay, so setting up the field property can also be possible with the help of the business. Okay, then we have the fourth point. What is the fourth point? Display error message. Display error message is something where whenever an end user is filling up something and if any mandatory fields are there or if he missed that particular field, then a pop-up message should be raised. Okay, it specifies that you can define that an error message is, for example, the user forgot to maintain a required field and get a customer specific error message displayed while trying to save. Got it?
Yes.
That is one thing. And then we have the fifth point, that is validating the consistency of the field. You can define all relevant fields are provided. Example, if an admin select a contract type, suppose if an admin select a contract type with a fixed term value, the contract end date should be provided. This was also another scenario last year where whenever we are selecting the drop down value of the contract type, the contract end date should become automatically mandatory. Okay, so that was some scenario which we got from the customer and we have written a business rule for that. Okay, so these are some of the important uses of the business rule. Okay, got it? Any questions? These are some
Um,
of the, yeah, these are the uses of the case why when we are using the, what are the ways which can use the configure business rule. Okay, any questions, any doubts in your mind before proceeding ahead?
no. No.
Okay, fine. Then we have this implementing business rule setting. So for implementing business rule, first of all, we need to set up the enable the business rule from the provisioning. We have to go to the provisioning, that is select the enable the uh, generic object. Okay, there we have an option there where we need to enable the generic object. That option we need to enable it from the provisioning. Second step is that we need to go to the RBP permission, going to the administrative permission, and there we have to go to metadata framework MDF, and in the RBP administrative permission we need to enable these all: configure business, object definition, manage data, configure business rule. All these options we need to enable it. Okay, that is one part which we need to cover. After this, once we have enabled it, then we can go into the system. When you go into the system, either you can go from admin center or you can directly type here configure business rule. Okay, configure business rule. So in the configure business rule, when you go into this screen, we can find what are the number of business rules which is already been configured in this system. It is a development system or is a preview system or the production system. So number of business rules will be showing here. Okay, so you can see what is the number of business rules which is been there configured, that will be showing here. Okay, then we can see certain tabs are there here. Okay, what is the use of these tabs? So the first one, what is the first tab? So in the first tab we have this 687 business rules. Now if you want to go and search for a particular rule, if you know the name, you can go and search from the business rule here. by putting the rule name here. That is also possible. Okay, and as on date. Okay, otherwise if you don't know the name of the rule, but if you know the scenario, see, every rule, when we are creating a rule always depends upon the scenario. Okay, so what is a scenario? So you want to create a rule on the basis of compensation, on the basis of uh, time management, on the basis of calibration, or on the basis of the certain specific scenario. If you want to go, it is already predefined by SAP. Otherwise, commonly if you are going with a common scenario, we have an option that is called as a basic. Okay, so in the real time, whenever we are going and creating a scenario, 80%, 80 to 90% we will be always taking the scenario as a basic only. Okay, so that any of the conditions when we are drafting, that can be covered under the basic scenario. So now if you don't know the name of the rule, and if you want to search, then you can go and search on the basis of the scenario also. Okay, with the help of the scenario also you can able to go and search it. Okay, these are some standard scenarios, and you can also see basic is also there here. Somewhere you can able to find the basic one also. Okay, so apart from that, this is the tab which is being help us to search on the basis of the scenario. Now the another tab is, that is last modified by. So you have multiple you have a team, you have a team of colleagues. So if any other consultant has already made some changes, then you need to check what is the changes, and you don't know the name of the rule. So for in that case, you can go and search on the basis of last modified by. Okay, so on the basis of that, you can able to go and make the changes, and then you can able to identify who has made that changes with the help of the name by selecting the checkbox here. Okay, that is one thing. Then we have a rule type. Okay, similar to the scenario, the rule type is also there, but rule type is not a mandatory one, we can ignore it. Then we have a base object. Base object is something in managed business configuration, how we connect HRS element with the portlet. Here also the base object connect with the portlet. Now you are making some changes into the job information portlet, and you are creating a condition which is related to the job information. The base object should be taken as a job information. Okay, rather than taking any other. So when you take the base object as a job information, then whatever the fields are there under job information, all the fields will be populating in that list, drop down list. Okay, according to that we can able to create a condition. Okay, so if you know the base object, then you can search on the basis of the base object. Okay, so these are some tabs are there, and for creating the rule, you can go and click on here, create new rule, by clicking on the plus sign. Okay, this is something, the scenario which I was discussing right now, where you can see these are the scenarios which is already predefined. Okay, now if you want to go and select any of this scenario, specific scenario, that is calibration, benefit, compensation, contingent, employee central code. So every scenario you can see there are certain subcategories are there. Okay, that is specific to that particular scenario. Otherwise, if you want to go commonly, you can find here basic. Okay, this is the common scenario where you can click on the basic, and you can click on the reading button. Okay, there in the right side you can find these tabs are there. Okay, so here under the basic, when you go into the radio button, you can side you can find rule ID, start date, rule type, description, base objects. Okay, so whatever the mandatory fields are there, we need to fill on those fields. Okay, so let's take a scenario where I'm just trying to change the value of the position. Okay, and I want to create a rule, a scenario, a rule condition. One more thing I just want to update. I think earlier also I have updated. We have a event reason, we have a workflow. Both are different features. So whenever we want to create a condition, both the rule condition should be created separately for the workflow and separately for the event reason. So let's take a scenario where I want to create a condition for, first of all, for the event reason. Okay. So how I will try to create a condition? I will try to mention the rule ID. Everything can be mentioned by the developer, by the consultant. It is not specific required to uh, be taken info from the customer side. Okay, so let me take something where business rule we have uh, event reason. Let's take. I am taking the change of the position change. Okay. So we are taking care of the position change and I am specifying some date here. Okay, for my understanding. Okay, okay, I'm taking this and I will click on the tab button here. So I think I have, okay, rule name was also there. I missed it. So I will just cut it and here I will mention the rule name and I will enter the tab button here. Okay, so automatically it will be copied and I will paste it here. Rule type, it is not a mandatory, I can able to ignore it. Base object. So we need to understand we are trying to create a rule whenever there is a change in the position. Position is coming under where? Position is coming under which portlet? Job information. Okay. So we need to go and search for job information as a base object. Okay, when you will go and search the base object, you will find two things. One is job information, one is job information model, most importantly. So when we will be using the job information and job information model, job information is used when you want to create a condition, where you want to create a condition for the current value, not for the previous value. So whatever is the current value, you want to default it and you want to create a condition, then you will go with a job information. Job information model is used when you want to do some comparison between the current and the previous value, then you will be going with the job information model. Okay, this applies to any of the portlet, either it is job information or it is an employment details or it is a address information or it is a personal information. There'll be two things, one is a basic one and one is a model also. Okay, that is one thing. So here in this case I am taking the model here and I will click on continue. And now when you enter into the screen, as I discussed, we can see we first of all we can see the scenario which we have taken as a basic information we have already taken, and here you can see the parameter. So parameter, first of all I have taken a job information as a this one whatever as a basic. Okay, so now you have a requirement where you want to connect the fields which are there in different portlets. Okay, so that we call as a cross portlet business rules. So in cross portlet business rule, SAP has certain limitation also as per the knowledge base article. When you want to have a scenario where some fields you want to take it from job information and some field you want to take it from compensation or from some other portlet, then that is coming under cross portlet business. Okay, so in that case what will happen, we need to add additional uh, 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 base value. So here we have taken job information model. Again, for adding additional, you can go to the parameter, and here you have an add parameter where you can able to add the additional portlets. Okay, that's the basic. base object. Okay, so finally, suppose if I'm taking as a compensation, so the rule will be, you are trying to execute the rule between the two base object, that is job information and the compensation, because the fields from both the portlets will be connected to each other. Okay, in the rule scenario. Okay, otherwise if it is only there with the help of for only for one portlet, then you will only taken as a base object, then parameter is not required. Okay, that is the use of the parameter. Then come into the if conditions. Okay, so if then else, if then else, or if you want to add, so this if then is there, this is block one. Okay, where this is if is the this condition which you are creating, and if this condition is getting satisfied, you are setting up the statement. Okay, so let's try to create a condition. Before creating condition, here we have the operators also. When you click on the arrow here, you can see and all operators are there. Okay, we have the copy option, we have the paste option. Okay, and we have the expression. Again, you want to add another condition, that is also possible. And to connect those condition, if you want to add, you want to use the operators and or, that is also there. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to create a condition for the position. So when I click on the if condition, we have taken the base object as a job information model. So under job information model, you can see all the fields are coming which are showing in the employee profile. So when you go and scroll down, our requirement was for the position. Okay, so let me take let and you can see it is all in a alphabetic order. So when you scroll down, you can see here the position. If the position value, right, whatever is the position value, you're creating a condition. If the position now position value, okay, position value is not equal to the position previous value. So when I go and scroll down, you can see previous value. Why this previous value is coming? Because we have taken as a job information model. If you are taking as a job information, so you will be only getting the you will be not getting this option. Okay, so it is only give you will only try to create with the current value. Okay, now if I am taking as a previous value, so what is the condition here? If the job information position value is not equal to the job information position previous value, if this is the condition, then you need to set up. Okay, so how you will go and do the settings? Set the information, set the statement. So for that, this scenario we are doing for the event reason, right? So set the event reason. You can see event reason value. Okay, we need to select the event reason. What is the event reason value? I think earlier I have already configured the event reason value, where it is been configured in manage org job pay structure, correct? So let me go into manage org job pay structure, and here I will try to check the event reason. Okay, and let me search for event reason. Okay, so let's take here as a job info change. Okay, so this is something which I have created earlier. So when we have created the event reason, we have connected this event reason value to the event also. You can see the event. So finally we are want to notify what is the event and event reason to the system. So what I will do, I will choose this event reason. Okay, and I will try to, because here I want to set the event reason value to be equal to, so what is the value? That value I need to paste it here. Okay, got it? If the job information position value 2 is not equal to the position previous value, then set the event reason value to be equal to 0. Okay, got it? Now I am clicking on the save. Okay, any questions here? Understood the condition here? We have created a simple condition, and if this condition is getting satisfied, you are creating the statement here. Okay, for creating a business rule, there are two things: creating a condition and creating a statement, right? Now in this case, if I want to also add and or, then also I can have this option, and or. Then here I can add multiple conditions. In the if only, you can include multiple conditions with the help of logical operator and or. Okay, that is one thing. Otherwise, this is one block, and after this block, if you want to, if this condition is there, else make this set the statement as this. If the condition is there, then only this you setting this statement. Else you are setting the statement this for others. That that is the scenario. Then you will be using the else. Okay, else if means you are created this as a block one, again you are trying to create another condition, that is if then with the block 2. So you will be having two conditions, one is in block 1 and another is in the block 2. Okay, got it?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the things we should know, how to play with these operators and how to work on this if then else. Scenario will come in a plate and it will be shown to you by the customer. You need to understand and you need to draft and frame the condition with the help of the business rule. Customer will never know the SF language. Customer will try to explain you the in a business scenario. We need to try to figure out how we can able to draft. And again I am repeating, the in the business rule also, SAP has certain limitation and the restrictions. As for example, where I'm only using job information model, but if a scenario gives me to create a rule where I want to compare something with job information also, and also I want to take something with the other portlet, compensation or something which is personal information, then we need to check, is the business rule, that is the cost portlet business rule supports for these portlets or not, as per the KBA. Okay,
Mm.
because if you are not aware of it, you will try to create it, assign it and try to test it, and you will not find the result. Then you will always think that, oh, I have just created the rule, what went wrong in the rule? Maybe the rule is correct, but that is the limitation from the SAP side. So that also has to be communicated to the customer, that your requirement, your scenario is not possible because that is the restriction from the SAP with the supporting KBS. Got it?
Yeah. Okay.
So I just saved it. I'm saving it. So once I saved it, this is something which I created for the event reason. Same thing, I will duplicate this screen. One scenario I created for event reason. Another scenario I will try to create for the business rule. So for that, what I will do, I will just try to, uh, we have an option of copying the rule, right? Copying the rule means you don't want to make any changes here. Everything you want to take it as same, rather writing it again. You just want to customize it. Copy this and you can click on copy the rule. Okay. So you can give rather business rule ER we can able to mention as WF. Okay. Okay, that rule is for the event driven, this rule is for the workflow. Got it? Then click on this, and so you are not tinkering, or you're not making any changes on this rule, just copying that part. Okay, click on the copy. Now you can see every condition is been copied. The old condition will be there for event driven. This is the new condition. This is the condition which we can able to customize it. Okay, now this is something, the if condition we have said. In the set statement we want to include the workflow. So again, for the workflow we want to go to WF. Can you see here WF config option, the workflow? Okay, so here we will take workflow config value to be equal to. So what is the workflow? So how we have taken for the this one, what you call event reason, we will go and search here for the workflow. So already we would have created the workflow. So let me check the workflow. So I had created for my previous sessions. Let me scroll down. Let me take this one, job info change. Okay. So you can see what is the workflow which has been created. So all the level of approvers we have already added here. Can you see step 1, step 2, step 3, and the contributor CC role also my email ID is there, right?
Yeah.
So this is already created, so I will not be creating this, but I will be using the code here. Okay, and I will be copying finally here. Okay, now this is the another scenario which is for the workflow. Okay, and I will click on the save. So do two different business rules I have created, one for the event and one for the workflow. Now the second step is to creating the business rule is done. We need to assign the business rule. Okay, so assigning the business rule, what is the configuration tool? What is the configuration which we need to go? We have to go to manage business configuration, right? Because that is the place where we have maintained all the sections and all the portlets and the fields, and it is position is related to which portlet? Job information, right? So search for job information here, go to job information, and below the field section we have a trigger rule section, right? So let me go into the trigger rule. It's still processing, so I will go into take action, make correction, HRIS field, and trigger rule. Okay, this is the trigger rule section, right? Okay, so in the trigger rule, so as I told, as it is mentioned that rule can be assigned at an object level and a field level. So this is the place where you are assigning at an object level. Okay, if you want to assign at a field level means, see here you can assign it at an object level here. So when you're assigning at an object level, whatever the fields are there, you can see all these fields are there, right? The rule can be applicable to any of the field if the condition is being added in the rule. If you are assigning at a field level means, suppose you are taking only specific to a position, so you can go to the details. Under the detail also you have a rule, trigger rule section. Can you see here? Okay, so in the trigger rule only it supports with the event type. There we have a concept of event type. When we are assigning the rule, there are 4 to 5 event types are there. So here when at a field level it only supports with on change. Okay, so whenever the field value of for this particular field we are set as on change, the rule will trigger. If that is the scenario, we need to assign that rule here. Okay, if our scenario is something where somebody is making a change, or if it is only for the view, then we will be going and assigning at a object level. So when you go here, now let's assign the rule here. So when I go here, you can see job information model, and here
Okay.
on save. So you have a on save, on it means on initialization, means means suppose you have opened a employee profile, a particular screen you are opening, automatically that a value will be coming. Okay, that is happening because a rule is getting triggered.
Yeah.
Okay, so and on view is also something where you're making some changes, but that will be only reflected in the on view. On save is means your action is performed when you're saving something. Okay, so here in this case I'm selecting on save, and one business rule which I have taken, this one, let me copy it and let me see it here. Okay, then another rule was for workflow. So that workflow also, let me select the workflow here. Okay. So here the workflow, we need to copy this. Okay. And if you want, during the development or the test instances, if you are doing and checking your rule, if you want to rather deleting it, you can have an option of making it inactive.
Okay.
It's getting saved. Once it is saved, we will go and proxy to a user. Okay, this rule is saved. Okay, once this rule is been saved, you have to go and duplicate this one and take a test scenario. Let's take a user for testing. Okay, let's take a scenario. I will go to Anil and let me go in. And let me go to the action for performing the test to show you if the rule is working or not. We should make sure if any other rule is there in the same scenario, we need to go and disable that rule from the manage business configuration for a time being, so that to check our rule is working correctly or not. Change job and comp info, go to the job information. Let's take some date here. uh, Suppose if I'm taking something as 1st of June, and let me go and select and change the position. Suppose if I am changing the position, something I am just trying to change here. Okay, I'm changing the position. So this I'm performing an action here, right? Where I'm changing the position. So system will try to first of all check in the job information any rule is there or not. Okay. If the rule is there, then whatever the action which we have performed, that action will be compared with the condition which we have created in the business rule. Okay, so now we have changed it. Now rule will work. We assign the rule on save, right? So we have to click on save. So I just checked it. Let me check any where it is missing or not. So you can see here we have changed it. So certain area also been updated. Okay, so let me save it. Event reason is not a consistent value with associated object country region value with the object event reason. This may be because the event reason. Okay, so I need to event reason data change. So just give me a moment. This is happening because uh, I will go here into manage data. And I will go with the country region and I will try to select IND. IND, okay, this one. And here, how pay component is there, event reason is also mapped with each country. So we need to check if our event reason is added there or not. So you can see the event reason, our event reason is not added. So what was our event reason? Let me check ER underscore job info. Okay. Now let me add and save it here. Okay, I have saved it and again I will refresh it and again I will go to, let's take again the user Anil. Again I will go to action. Let me take the date as 1st June. Okay, now I will scroll down, take the position. So we'll select the position here. Okay, selected the position. Let me check if now it is working correctly or not. Okay, still showing in the process. Now you can see it is not allowing us to save, but you can see the both with one change, both rules are getting triggered. You can see this is the event reason, right? Which is been initiated for this user. Okay, and for this event reason, what is the workflow? That workflow you can able to go and see here. Can you see the workflow?
Yes.
Okay, now as a admin or as a HR admin, if you want to know what is the workflow, see here only the flow is showing how the
Mm.
approval is, but this is been configured for which workflow. If you want to know, keep the cursor, bring the cursor here. You can see the name of the workflow also will be showing here.
Okay.
Okay, so in this way we can able to track what is the workflow which is getting triggered and the event reason which is getting triggered. Okay, rest you know already because we have done it in the MDF case also. Once you submit it, it will go to the first level of approval, and then we have already discussed in detail, right?
Yes, we can proxy them and approve them. And
Yes, yes. So, if you want to check the status of the workflow, also manage workflow request, you can able to see as a approval also, as approve and review and approve option is there. From there also we can able to check, okay, how the workflow is being designed. Okay, but here most importantly, we can see both the rules are getting triggered. One is for the event and event. Now, earlier what was happening, whenever you are clicking on save, you have to enter it manually, event and event. Now system is getting notified automatically. Got it?
yes.
Okay. So this is something how we can able to work on the business rule with the help of these operators and these if then else condition. If you know, because business rule is something that you cannot by heart something, or you cannot able to take anything in advance. If you know how to play and how to work on these operators, then according to the scenario, it is for which it's applicable to which portlet, which area, you need to select the base object. Okay, you have to select the scenario. Okay, then you have to work on the if condition and setting up the statement, and then according to that you have to do the testing also in this way that this condition should satisfy. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we complete the concept of the business rule.